What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for your NFL Week 7 review, recap, and reaction. We are fresh off of Monday Night Football. I will give you my reaction to that game. Man, do I have a reaction for that game. I am absolutely disgusted with what I just watched, what I just witnessed. It was not a great night for me. Let's just say that much in terms of a lot of things. But man, oh man, there is a lot to take from that absolutely disgusting football game between the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks. We also have the entire week of 7. Week of 7, I like that. To look back at Sunday night football, the Colts and the Niners, the Chiefs and the Titans. Titans absolutely traumatizing the Chiefs. The Patriots steamrolling the Jets. Has Bill Belichick fixed me? But before I get into Week 7, my thoughts, my view, and my take, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV on the NFL, and spike that notification bell to notify you when I'm live and for the latest upload. If you guys, especially Patriots fans, haven't seen it yet, I do recommend go check out my new video essay, Bill Broke Me. Put a lot of effort into that one, so go check it out if you haven't already. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me here live. Thanks for joining me every week. Thanks for joining me live on the live streams during the games. We have a lot to look at, including the Ultra 10, as Ultra is in the chat. We got Big Nate also in the chat. So, a lot to discuss this week. All right. You know what? I think I forgot to hit the Lenny intro like 2 or 3 consecutive weeks. So I think I need to hit the Lenny intro just for like the sake of it, you know? So let's hit the Lenny intro. Mac Jones is my favorite quarterback in the 2021 NFL Draft. San Francisco 49ers are legit contenders in 2019. Tom Brady is going to win the Super Bowl with the Bucs this year. All right, guys. It is that time, your favorite show. It is The Bottom Line, where I lay down the line and I tell you my honest opinions and thoughts about the latest in the NFL. If you're new to the show, make sure you do subscribe. I cover the entire NFL here on this show each and every week, where I give you the cold, hard facts, the way that I see it through these two blue eyes. I will let you know right through your screen. All right? So let's get started. And let's get started where we always get started. And that is with the Monday Night Football reaction. But because I don't want to go with the Ultra 10 yet, I want to go with the Monday Night Football reaction because I got to get this off my chest. It's absolutely killing me here. So, 2 things happened in this game. 2 things. 1, I realized that Jameis Winston stinks. 2, now actually 3 things, okay? A couple 3 things happened here, all right? 1, Jameis sucks. 2, I bet on the Saints -4, okay? They couldn't cover 4 versus the Seahawks? The Seahawks, did anyone watch this game? How incompetent are the New Orleans Saints that they can't beat the Seattle Shithawks by 4 points? 4! I didn't ask them to cover 6. I didn't ask them to cover 7. Not 8. 4! Are you kidding me? 4 points! Are you... what? Like, literally, the Seahawks had one good play the whole game. They had one 80-yard touchdown, and the Saints couldn't score. Guys. I need to fact check this because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong, okay? I'm fact checking this right now for you. The Seattle Seahawks, their entire team, okay, is not playing in this game. Their entire team being Russell Wilson. He's not playing. He's on the bench, okay? The Seattle Seahawks have the 32nd, I'm not lying, look it up. The Seattle Seahawks have the worst defense in the NFL. The worst defense. 27th versus the pass, 30th versus the run. The Saints allowed 10 points, and they probably should have lost the game. Like, I'm not even going to come out here and say, like, bro, I'm not even going to come out here and say the Saints, like, should have easily covered. No, bro, the Seahawks should have won. Their kicker missed 2 kicks. The Seahawks defense is so bad. The Saints allowed 10 points, 184-yard play. Their offense couldn't score. They couldn't score 14 points. They couldn't score 20. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They couldn't score 20 points. Like, I dead not nailed this freaking game. I nailed it. I was like, this is exactly what's going to happen. The Seahawks are going to come out. They're going to run the ball 8 fucking million times into the line of scrimmage. And they're going to get 50 yards. And the Saints should easily win as long as they can just put up some sort of points. Bro, the Saints should have lost. And the Seahawks were a bunch of idiots. The Seahawks in this game, guys, the Seahawks in this game, Alvin Kamara had like 2,000 yards, all right? The Saints have no receivers. Like, I think Turtle would be a starting receiver on the Saints. Their receivers are horrendous, okay? They didn't double Alvin Kamara till the 4th quarter. Are you kidding me? That's all they got. That's all they got is Alvin Kamara. AK-41. That's all they got. What happens? You want to see what happens? I'm playing fantasy. I'm up 50 points. Look at this score. I lost. Look at that. I lost by 0.7, 0.6, because the Seahawks can't fucking cover Alvin Kamara. What? So, not only can the Saints not score any points, even though I was 100% right on what would happen in the game. So I was 100% right. I'm like, okay, they're coming. Guys, this is how bad the Saints are. The Saints are coming off a bye. A bye! A bye! B-Y-E. They have Sean Payton. Sean Payton. They've got a bye. They couldn't muster 20 points off a bye versus the 32nd defense in the NFL? Are you kidding? And then the Seahawks, bro, the Seahawks roll up. We're playing the Saints. Their receivers are lit. Their best receiver is Kenny Stills. Bro, Traquan Smith is honestly the worst football player I've ever seen in my life. This guy took a pass interference where he pushed the man over. He literally couldn't get open. So the guy pushed him over. Like, what are you doing? Are you kidding? So I lose my bet because the Saints are incompetent on offense. Guys, they got in the red zone at the end of the game. They could have scored a touchdown, but they couldn't block the Seahawks. The Seahawks pass rush. Their pass rush sucks. They're terrible. Traquan's terrible. Bro, come on. Are you serious? And then, you know who he had on his team? He had not just Kamara, he had DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf caught 2 passes, and one was for 84 yards and a touchdown on Marshawn Lattimore. What? Are you kidding? Like, what? What is Lattimore doing? I am dumbfounded. I am going to bet all of my money next week on the Tampa Bay, but I don't care what the spread is. Marcus with the $5 super chat. I appreciate it, bro. The Saints have no chance. That game is going to be... It doesn't even matter. Bro, the Bucks could score 10 points and they'll win. The Saints can't score. The Saints have no receivers. Jameis is awful. Awful. The guy, okay, bro, look at this shit. Jameis had 16 completions. 16. Okay? And 13 of them, at a certain point, I don't know, maybe after that it got a little bit different, but. So, in the game, Jameis had 16 completions. 13 of them were under 5 yards. And the Seahawks are playing cover 2. What are you doing? Seahawks, what are you doing? And then, oh my gosh. If I had to watch Alex Collins run for 3 yards on another play, I might have puked. I mean, guys, I am not exaggerating. Guys, the Seattle Seahawks ran the ball 14 times in a row. This is not an exaggeration. The Seattle Seahawks in this game ran the ball 14 times in a row versus the second best run defense in the NFL. Pete Carroll, what are you doing? What are you doing? Gino, bro, you want to hold on to the ball any longer? You're looking like friggin' Jameis. And then people in my Discord, oh my gosh, saying Jameis is good. The guy misses 5-yard completions. He's got open. He throws it at the dirt. No wonder Bruce Arians was, between the interceptions, the pick sixes, and the missed 7-yard completions, boy, would I be pissed off. He is so inconsistent. Russell, okay, I want to say 2 things. You know, there's 2 people that are underrated. 2 people. 2. 1, Russell Wilson is the entire Seahawks organization. If the Seahawks were to trade Russell Wilson, they would win less games than the Lions are winning right now without Matthew Stafford, which the Lions have won 0 games without Matthew Stafford. So technically, that's impossible. But somehow, Pete Carroll would still run the ball. Russell Wilson's the entire franchise. Forget the team. Forget the offense. He's the entire organization. He's the only reason anybody cares about this stupid team. He's the only reason anybody watches them. He's the only reason they're on TV. They suck. Their DBs are awful, and somehow Jameis couldn't pick them apart. I'm done. They suck. Both these teams are terrible. I couldn't have watched a worse football game in my life. Congratulations to Alvin Kamara, who had 3,000 and 3,000. But why'd you have to do it against me on my fantasy day? I had 178 points and you still beat me. You fucker. God. I can't believe it, man. The Saints receivers, man. I don't know if anyone was open the entire game. Like, I make fun of Jameis. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't all his fault. He was bad, but like, it was. Was anyone open? And when they were open, he missed them. My goodness. I am done with that game. I hope, for your sake, you didn't watch this game. Guys, I don't care what the spread is. It could be minus 24. I don't care. I do not care. If the Saints make the playoffs, it's literally a free win for the other team. Like, it's going to be the equivalent of the Bears. Okay. Ultra 10 time. The Ultra 10. Okay. Where's my graphics? These teams got me all out of sorts, man. All out of sorts. Thank you, Marcus, for the super chat. I watched it, unfortunately, absolutely horrendous. At least Marcus knows what he's watching. Thank you, Marcus. Also, somebody else super chatted. I missed it. I gotta go back and look. I apologize to whoever it was. Let me see. I think it was Seth, but I need to see. Hopefully it's here somewhere. Okay, there it is. Seth. Okay, sorry, Seth. I'm going to read your comment right now. Seth Carpenter. Hey, Mitch. So the Cardinals are going to upset the Packers, which it's not an upset. The Cardinals are favored, and they'll be favored by more now because Davante Adams is out. So regardless, Davante Adams has the COVID, so he says 38-21. So that's his prediction for Thursday Night Football. Let me know your prediction in the comments. All right, let's muster up some positive vibes now. Oh boy. I mean, it's unbelievable that every week I come on here. Every week I come on here and I got to put up with this Ultra 10. I mean, can anyone else give me some power rankings, bro? Like, okay, here we go. number 10, the LA Chargers. Okay. I'm not going to say too much about that. They had a bye. They play the Patriots next week, which will be a tough game, I think. They need to bounce back after their loss versus the Ravens. The Ravens looked horrendous this week. So that doesn't really help the Chargers in terms of them losing by 1,000. Okay. But the Bolts, I like them. Herbert's still one of the best. Pass defense is good. They got to figure out the run defense. Okay? And they need to... I think a big weakness for them is their creativity receiving-wise in the passing game. I feel like the big reason the Ravens were able to get after Herbert and take away those receivers is because they're just... Lombardi's not doing enough with his passing game. So that's what I want to see coming out of the bye. It can't just all be Justin Herbert being a baller. Like, you got to give me a little bit more flair. You know what I'm saying? Just don't watch the Saints and Seahawks because you don't want to take any from that game, okay? At number 9, the Ravens, okay? The Ravens got shellacked by the Cincinnati Bengals, which was the shocker of the week for me, even more so than the Chiefs, which, I mean, we're going to get to the Chiefs, but, like, at this point, if there is a take Hall of Fame, like, I don't like patting myself on the back or whatever, but, like, if there's a take Hall of Fame, is my Chiefs are overrated take not in the Hall of Fame? Like, can somebody put that shit in the Hall of Fame at this point? Like, beside Bill Belichick's game plan versus the 90s Bills should be my video of the Chiefs being overrated. I don't know about you, but I feel like that I should get some sort of award for that. Okay? I feel like I'm being underappreciated for that take. I don't know. You guys let me know. But anyways, the Ravens. I don't know what to think about the Ravens. It feels like every time I buy into the Ravens, like I say, the Ravens are that team. The Ravens are that team. And they always disappoint me now. Like, I love the Ravens. You guys know this. I'm a big Ravens guy. And the reason I'm a big Ravens guy is because of Rule 52. By the way, next year, there is a book coming out called the Mitch Book of Rules, okay? On page 52, there is a rule called don't bet against the Ravens, all right? And that is the Ravens for my entire life. But for whatever reason, when I bet on the Ravens, they disappoint me. So I don't know where to stand on the Ravens. Are they that team? Or are they just what I thought? Which is they're good, but they're not great. Where are we at with that? Because I don't know what to think. Okay? The defense is all over. They can't tackle. The defense. Yo, go to tackling school. Learn how to wrap somebody up. I'm going to recommend you to Jen Welter. You got to get that tackling down. It's horrendous. You can't tackle. They allow way too much yak. Way too much. I mean, Jamar Chase made Marlon Humphrey look like Aqua. But the offense. Okay, this is a problem with the offense. The O-line is inconsistent in the pass game. They need to figure out how to pass the ball from under center. They need to figure out how to pass the ball on some PA boots. They need to just give me some Sean McVay with Lamar Jackson. Can you just give me a little bit of Sean McVay? Every once in a while, fake the speed sweep, give me the PA boot. Like every once in a while. Because it's RPO. It's 3rd and 100 and Lamar's running around in circles and just throws a YOLO ball to Mark Andrews. He's like, F it, he's down there somewhere. Or it's PA shot. It's like, if it's not a run, it's like a 50-yard bomb. Or it's empty, hitch for 5 yards like they're running the Mahomes boy offense. Can we get a little bit of like 2014 Joe Flacco? Can we get a little bit of that in this offense? Please. Please. Number 8. The Bengals. Yes, I said the Bengals. B-E-N-G-A-L-S. I spelled that right. Put me in the spelling bee. Joe Burrow, 400 plus yards. Baller. Joe Burrow is living up to what I thought he was. The Bengals, after years of me speculating, it's the Bengals' time. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Finally, the Bengals are here. They're legit. The defense is pretty good. I don't give out compliments to the defense. Any defense, that is. But the defense is pretty good. They can actually cover people. They can actually tackle Baltimore. Their run D is good, I told you. The offense. I mean, Jamar Chase is like Randy Moss 2.0 at this point. Joe Mixon, my guy. The O-line isn't a train wreck. Joe Burrow has a new knee. I mean, I'm into it with the Bengals. At number 7, the Bills. B-I-L-L-S. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. At number 7, I think they should be higher. Personally, Ultra. Like, I think they should be in the top 5. How are the Packers ahead of the Bills? Like, I feel like the Bills are clearly a better football team than the Packers. I don't know if that's just me, but I think they're better than the Packers. I also think, okay, they lost to the Titans, but Josh Allen literally fell on his face. Okay? The Titans are overrated once again by Ultra. No surprise. Okay? Titans are good. They deserve to be in the top 10. I'm not trying to say that. They had a very good win versus the Chiefs, although the Chiefs suck. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I think the Bills are overall a better team than those two teams. Like, just over the course of time. Okay? The Titans do deserve to be, I think, like in the top 10. But I think it's really tough to like rank the AFC teams. They're all kind of clumped together. It is really hard. I think the Packers should definitely be lower, right? They kind of survived versus Washington. It wasn't very impressive to me, although they covered, and they continue to win, right? They're a good team. They're not a great team to me, okay? They continue to win, but they don't continue to dominate. So that seems to me that they're a good team, but they're not a great team. So they wouldn't be in my top 5. I think top 5 is like great this year teams, you know? So the Bills would be number 5 for me. Titans would be number 6. I don't know what I'd do with the rest of the 10. You're going to have to see in the power rankings. At number 4, the Rams. Rams, Cowboys, I think are very close, kind of interchangeable. I think the Cowboys' offense is better, but the Rams' defense is better, although it's pretty close. I think what the Cowboys have been able to do, first of all, the level of Dak Prescott this year is through the roof. He's been unbelievable. And their offense is very hard to stop, especially Michael Gallup came off IR this week. He'll be back soon. I think the Cowboys' defense will get a little bit better with DeMarcus Lawrence coming back. So they have pieces coming back. the Rams defense has been, a little shaky, right? They gave up like over 400 yards to the Lions, but they make plays. They make plays in key moments, and Stafford was very good versus former team. That one is interesting. Like, that could go either way. I still think the Bucs are the best team in the league. I've been saying that for the whole year. I said that last week. Everybody laughs at me, whatever. Okay, the Bucs just dismantled the Bears 38-3, and it should have been 58-3. Like, it was really, really bad. But the Bucs to me are the best team, even though they've got one loss. Cardinals play the Packers. We will see how that goes on Thursday. No Devontae Adams, which really, really sucks because I was expecting an awesome game. But without Adams, who's basically one of their two good players, that hurts. All right, so it's basically the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams show. And without Adams, that significantly hinders that show, if you know what I mean. But the Bucs are the best team to me, and they'll be my number one team on the power rankings. Nothing's changed there. Again, guys, how I look at my power rankings is who's going to win the Super Bowl right now, and that's the Bucs. The Cardinals would be 2 or 3, somewhere in that range. I think the Cowboys, Rams, and Cardinals are very close together. I look at all those teams at the same level. They're all similar to me. So that's the way I look at it. That is the Ultra 10. You can find that on Instagram every single week. Ultra's Take. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me here. I got to shout out my guy, Mr. Hot Take Hockey, Johnny. Sorry for all of your losses, John, with the Leafs. Tough to see, man. Hope you're doing well. Go subscribe to him if you haven't for Hockey Talk. Man, he's had some, if you guys like rants, he's had some great rants. I've been laughing my ass off at some of them. So go check him out, guys. That's Hot Take Hockey in the chat. Thanks for joining. What's going on, Dash? Big Al. Big Al's my guy. Isaac, they're Cants in the chat, of course. Just, giving the worst takes in the world every week. I mean, it just gets worse every week at this point. Ultra is there in the chat. It looked like Big Al did well. Good for him. Okay. Man, I don't know how long this show's been. 30 minutes? And I've barely gotten into the show. Like, I lost it on Monday Night Football. I can't stand the Saints. I'm done. I can't stand the Seahawks. They're terrible. I'm done with them too. All right. Let's start with the opener here. I think my hair looks good, Durcan. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. All right. Is Bill fixing me? Bill, I don't know if you watched my video. Bill broke me. But that was a great performance versus the Jets. I appreciate that performance. I don't remember the last time I was that excited to demolish the Jets. Like, I don't remember the last time I was that excited to beat the Jets. The Patriots didn't just beat the Jets. They demolished the Jets. And you know what? Bill, if you keep this up, I will make a Bills Fixed Me video. I will make that video, Bill. Okay, so we have some interesting analysis for you in this segment. I was contacted by a commenter who's hating on Mac Jones. Nothing new. We get that all the time. But I want to respond to it because I think it's an interesting conversation. I do want to first comment on the game. Patriots defense, of course, dominated as we expected. John Jones will be out, which is a tough loss for the team. Hopefully they can add some layer of depth there at the cornerback position. Maybe look to the trade deadline for that, or bring in, Brian Poole, DJ Hayden on the open market. As for the offense, very impressive. I think there was a point in the game where they did not punt for like 6 or 7 series. I thought everything looked good. The O-line, most specifically, was key to this domination because I think the team a month ago, the way the O-line was playing, wouldn't have won this game the way they did. But the O-line was amazing, okay? I thought Isaiah Wynn looked like a first-round pick about time. Michael Onlenu at right tackle is the key. I mean, him going from guard to tackle, he's the best player on the team right now other than maybe J.C. Jackson. Those are the two best players. He's been unbelievable wherever you put him, but he's so much more valuable at right tackle without Trent Brown there. Ted Karras has played his ass off. David Andrews is the man. I mean, I love this O-line. Shaq Mason back. 2 consecutive games for Damian Harris over 100 yards. You got to love it. You got to love to see it. The receivers are finally coming into their own. Hunter Henry, another touchdown. Kendrick Bourne. I love Kendrick Bourne. I love that guy. Thank you, Kyle Shanahan, for Kendrick Bourne. Who else? Mac Jones, unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. I love Mac Jones. That's my quarterback, damn it. But Patriots offense, thank you. Because I don't remember the last time I saw that complete of a Patriots win. Thank you. Thank you for that offensive performance. And toss McDaniels, a.k.a. Josh McDaniels. Keep it up. Keep it up. That's all I got to say. We beat the Jets. It was a good game, good performance. I'm very happy about it. But let's see what we do versus the Chargers next week. I'm not going to get overly excited. I'm not going to proclaim anything. I'm not going to say this and that. Okay? But I am very excited about that win because that was a complete win. That was a team win. That was a quarterback getting better and better and better. Offense getting better and better. It was going to take some time. It was going to take some time. But they're starting to put it together. And if you get Trent Round back, Lenny's boy, I mean, look out. That O-line's going to dominate people when they're healthy. So I'm looking forward to it. I like the Pats' performance. And let's see what they do versus the Chargers. That's a true test. Okay. Next. Okay. So I'm asking a question here. Where do the Chiefs rank? So we just looked at the Ultra 10, right? And the Ultra 10 did not have the Chiefs in there, obviously, right? How many teams are better than the Chiefs in the NFL right now? Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. How many teams do you think are better than the Chiefs? Let me know. So for me, obviously, okay, let's go through all the obvious teams that are better than the Chiefs. The Bucks, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Bills, the Titans, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Bengals, the Bengals, the Bengals. Gotta say that 4 times just so you know. Who am I missing? Chargers. They're better. Who else am I missing? Packers. Packers are better. Who else? Who else am I missing? The Raiders. The Raiders. Right now. The Raiders. Guys. The Raiders. As of October 25th. 9/12 on Monday are better than the Chiefs. The Cowboys are better than the Chiefs. Who else? I gotta check. How many is that? How many is that? Like 14? No, like 12. Okay, so we got all those. I think I said the Titans. So I'm at least at 12. Now it becomes interesting. Are the Colts better than the Chiefs? Are the Saints better than the Chiefs? Well, I would say no. Are the Vikings better than the Chiefs? We know the Niners aren't. I mean, let's be honest. The Patriots? Are they better than the Chiefs? So I think if I were to honestly rank every team in the NFL, which you'll see on my power rankings where I rank them, I would put the Chiefs at probably 13 or 14. Somewhere around there. And you'll see that tomorrow on the Power Rankings show. But I thought that's an interesting conversation. Let me know how many teams you think are better than the Chiefs in the comments. All right. Now let's talk about the Chiefs as an overall entity and team. So what's wrong with the Chiefs? We've had this conversation a couple times already. There are a lot of issues with the Chiefs, so it's hard to really boil it down to just one thing, right? So let's just start on offense and then let's go to defense. So offensively, let's start at the top, all right? And the top is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes this season has thrown 9 interceptions, right? 9 interceptions. He has more interceptions in 7 games this year than he had last year or the year before, if I'm not mistaken. The problem with Patrick Mahomes is, and credit to PFF for this, obviously, I really like PFF's 2 stats when it comes to quarterbacks. I really like their big time throw stat, which shows their, obviously, the aggressive plays down the field or the impressive throws that are difference-making throws for a quarterback. Okay? So there's that. But the other stat that I think is very important to winning games in the NFL is turnover-worthy plays, TWP, okay? So that stat doesn't just track interceptions, but it also tracks fumbles and it tracks plays that are worthy of being turnovers, but for whatever reason, mostly luck, they weren't turnovers. Now, the interesting thing with Patrick Mahomes is he was at the top of the league last year in turnover-worthy plays. So in the last 2 years, he has 43 turnover-worthy plays. So not this year, but in 2019 and 2020, he has 43 turnover-worthy plays, which is a lot. Last year, he had 23. The year before, he had 20. Last year, he was extremely lucky with all the interceptions that were rather dropped or just didn't happen, okay? And that's what that stat tracks. So basically what's happening for Mahomes right now is that those plays that would have been dropped in the past are actually being caught now, or are actually being turnovers now. They're actually counting now, which is completely messing the team up because their offense is how they win. It has nothing to do with their defense, never really has anything to do with their defense, okay? Their defense is just worse now than it has been in 2 to 3 years. But that's a very interesting thing. Now, the problem with Mahomes is, so on Sunday, it's a little bit different. But on Sunday, their offensive line wasn't very good, kind of fell apart. The Titans got a lot of pressure on them. We'll talk about the Titans after this in terms of what they've done well, how they're turning it around, how they're kind of coming into their own, that sort of thing. But their O-line hasn't been good. And I said this before the season in my Chiefs are overrated video. The Chiefs have too many new pieces on their offensive line. It's very hard to have complete continuity. Now, the thing is, they've been pretty good in the run game for the most part this year, but a lot of that has to do with teams just playing light boxes and kind of allowing them to run the ball, and then they've been able to overpower teams. Like, think to that Eagles game, which we've also found out the Eagles are a terrible defense. But we'll talk about that also later on, okay? That Orlando Brown has been a bust of a tackle. Like, he's been a terrible trade. That was an awful trade. They don't really have a good right tackle. He's bad. So your offensive line is only as good as your weakest link. If you have a really, especially at tackle, I think tackle is a lot more noticeable than guard or center. Probably guard is the most, I would say, replaceable offensive position in terms of, if you were to have an injury on your offensive line, you want it to be at guard as opposed to tackle or center. Because center, a lot of teams calls protections, not for Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, but for, most quarterbacks, they call protections. And then tackle is obviously the blockers that are protecting the blind side and protecting the edge. Guards a little bit less so. It more impacts the run game, right? Where you have those really special guards with Marshall Yonda has been impressive for the Ravens because he's a pulling lineman. He's really good in the run game, that sort of stuff, right? So the Chiefs have a lot of new pieces at offensive line. A lot of them are rookies. A lot of them are unproven. Really, when you look across the board, they've been up and down on the offensive line. It's been very shaky. It's been very inconsistent. So for that, it's tough, I would say, to be a play caller. It's tough to be an offense, a consistently good one, when your O-line is so bad. It just so happened in this game, it was awful. But with Mahomes, I think it combines two bad things, because Mahomes in his nature wants to hold on to the ball for the bigger play. We've talked about this many times, but Mahomes will pass up a short completion for a big play down the field to make a guy more open, right? The thing with Mahomes is why you always see wide open Chiefs receivers is a combination of two things. So first off, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy's offense, it's not really like running routes. What they actually do, if you actually watch them, is they kind of, like, a lot of the players run to areas of the field, and Mahomes kind of like buys time for those guys to get open, which is why they're such an effective scrambling drill team, because he just avoids all the pressure, and then a guy gets open, and then he makes that throw, and the guy's usually wide open because he's bought extra time. The thing with Mahomes is he won't just drop back and throw the 5-yard hitch for that completion. Like Brady, the thing with Brady for years has been with haters, he just throws the 5-yard flat to the running back. He just throws the swing pass. With Drew Brees, it was just like he just throws the swing pass to the running back and gets 7 yards. Well, sometimes that's the better play than trying to run around. And a lot of times that's the better play. If you could just take the completion, right? But with Mahomes, that's starting to hurt him because defenses now are taking away Tyreek Hill. Everybody at this point, except for Cleveland and Philadelphia, are doubling him, playing too deep, cover two, all that stuff. And they're daring Kansas City to run the ball. And they're daring Mahomes to consistently throw the ball underneath and go down the field. And the problem with the Chiefs right now is Kelce isn't the same player. I mean, if you guys watch the Chiefs, to me personally, what I've seen, Kelce is not the same guy as last year. He has regressed to me. He's not the uncoverable player he was. He's still very good, but he's not like this amazing player that I saw last year. Tyreek Hill has been inconsistent. He's been a little bit unlucky with drops and things like that. I am going to be critical with him here, but he's being doubled almost all the time. So there's only so much you can do there. With other players, they don't have the Sammy Watkins, right? They don't have the third option, the fourth option. They don't have that guy. Like they can't be like, okay, Tyreek's doubled, Kelce's doubled. Nobody else gets open. Nobody else makes a play. So, of course, Mahomes is going to try to buy time and make a play, and the offensive line not being great, on top of the run game being non-existent, all of that stuff thrown into one pot. Teams don't respect you running the ball. They don't respect your physicality. They know that Tyreek Hill and Kelce are the only guys you throw to. I mean, the whole offense is built around it. And now there's been 2-3 years of film of the Chiefs with enough game plans that have been successful, including a Super Bowl, that teams have kind of figured out what are the money concepts of the Chiefs in this trip set. Where does Mahomes go with the ball? What's his favorite throw, right? Mahomes has had 4 years in the league where people have now seen the offense and have been able to diagnose it and study it. And of course, when that happens, your stats go down, right? So it's a combination of a lot of things offensively. They don't have enough physicality to me on the offensive line. They don't run the ball well enough. They're too finesse. That's number one. Their offensive line too inconsistent. Number two, Mahomes is throwing way more turnover-worthy plays in terms of they're actually getting intercepted now. They're a bit unlucky now. And Mahomes is making bad decisions. He used to not make as many bad decisions. He's making bad decisions, and he's simply not playing as heroically as he has in the past. He's not making as many big-time plays. He's not escaping the rush as many times. He's not making these crazy throws as many times as he did 2-3 years ago, right? And then all of that, and you don't have a third receiver. So there's a lot of issues on the offense, although the offense is very good. I'm not that concerned about that side of the ball. But if you're wondering why They scored 3 points. All of those things are coming together, right? And then the defensive side of the football. Okay, first things first. Why are we not playing Chris Jones at his natural position? Why is he playing on the edge? Like, I get that it was an experiment that I understood the experiment, and this was part of my problem. I said this in the overrated video again. The reason they had Chris Jones at the edge is because they lost too many effective edge players to free agency, and they wanted to get Jerron Reed on the field. So they wanted to try to get their best 4 linemen on the field. I get it. I understand it. But it's not working. Like, Chris Jones looks awful versus the run. He gives up. He's not even trying. Put him in his natural position. Second, their safeties can't cover. Their safeties are bad. Tyrann Mathieu has regressed. Daniel Sorensen's the worst player in the league, other than Traquan Smith. They can't cover. They struggle versus tight ends. Absolutely. They struggle versus receiving backs. Their corners aren't as good. They've regressed. L'Jarius Sneed, amazing rookie year, has just been okay, right? Mike Hughes has sucked, hasn't replaced Bashaud Breeland. Their corners stink. And here's the problem. They're so bad at tackling. They're so bad versus the run, so they play a team like the Titans. So what does Spagnuolo do? Naturally, he crowds the line of scrimmage, right? So I feel bad for Spagnuolo because the defense has no talent. Like, this is a talent issue. Look at their defense. It's a talent issue. They have some names, but Frank Clark is a name. He sucks. Like, he's terrible. He can't get a pass rush. And he sucks versus the run. So he's a non-factor. Okay? So the D-line doesn't get pressure. So when they play the run, they have to get everyone in the box. So when you put everyone in the box, then you play a team like the Titans. They got A.J. Brown on the outside. You can't cover A.J. Brown one-on-one with your guys on the corner. So you're fucked. You're fucked. I'm just going to be honest. You can't stop the run unless you load the box. And you can't cover unless you put everybody in coverage. What is Spagnuolo supposed to do other than just aggressively attack? And here's the thing. Their defense actually played kind of good. Like, that's the thing. Their defense actually played kind of good in that game versus Tennessee. And they still got shellacked. But their defense isn't good enough to the point where, okay, we can now come back on you. Right? Remember like 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl? A big reason they came back all the time is because their defense was capable enough of adjusting and making plays. Their defense can't make those key plays in crucial situations anymore because they stink. They have no talent. They've got 2 good players and one of them's underperforming. It's bad. Their linebackers can't cover. You know what? I've basically come to the conclusion that Patrick Mahomes is Brett Favre. Like, that was my comparison coming out of college. I thought we got a bit away from it because everybody was comparing Mahomes to Tom Brady, although everybody knows that nobody ever will be Tom Brady ever again. Okay? Patrick Mahomes is not Tom Brady. He's Brett Favre. And what I mean by that is a compliment. Okay? Because Brett Favre was a 3-time MVP. In his prime, he went 3 straight MVP. That's kind of like Mahomes' first 3 years, right? Best player in the league. Dominant. You know, everyone was calling him all-world. Most talented player ever. Okay? That's Brett Favre, right? When Brett Favre was at his peak, he was unstoppable, incredible, best player there is. Arguably the best prime ever. If you look back at Brett Favre's prime from like 93 to 97, it was unbelievable, okay? Now, with Mahomes and Favre, now they're having this, like, they make these incredible throws, but they also make these crazy mistakes. And Favre had these years in his career where he was so erratic. Like, he was still kind of carrying the team, kind of like Mahomes is, but he was making a lot of bad throws that allowed them to lose games. You know, so That's kind of the same thing to me. They feel like the same player. That's what Mahomes is. Brett Favre. He's an amazing talent and will have amazing seasons. But he'll also have some absolutely crappy performances that have you sitting there and saying, what was that? Like, what were you doing? Like, what were you thinking? You know? So that's kind of how I see it. All right, the Panthers. Woof. The Panthers. This might be a 2-hour episode, guys. The Panthers. I'm going to go quick on the Panthers. I just want to say I'm disappointed with Carolina. After 3-0, I was kind of excited. I was like, could this team make the playoffs? Are they legit? Like, I'm happy for Sam Darnold. They made me buy in after the first 3 weeks. Their defense looked legit, and to be fair, their defense still looks pretty good. Almost all of the issues with their team come on the offensive side of the football. Right? This game, the Panthers and the Giants, was the most puzzling game of the week for me. Absolutely puzzling. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. It made little to no sense. Like, the Giants beat the Panthers 25-3, I think. How? Like, the Giants' leading receiver was Dante Pettis. Their running back was Devontae Booker. Huh? And the Panthers lost to the Giants? What? Like, that was puzzling. That just shows you they're pretenders, right? Darnold's PFF grade is now lower than 2 of his 3 seasons with the Jets. Like, since those first couple games, he's been so bad. So bad. And the coaches need to go back to the drawing board, because I think what's happened is enough tape is out there on their new defense that not a lot of people run, and their offense with Brady and Rule. And I think enough teams have said, we know how to beat this, how to scheme up to defeat this, how to get after you offensively, to the point to where they struggle. So, big problems in Pantherville right now. Darnold's not the answer. He's going to be gone. They're going to have to find a new quarterback. Maybe it's Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's not. But it sucks, man. They thought they were a good team. Clearly. They went out, they traded for Stephon Gilmore. They thought they were a legitimate team. They can't block. They can't block. And their quarterback can't make plays. It's bad. It's bad. So, just disappointing, man. The Panthers are just disappointing. No other words. All right, so going back to that Chiefs game, I do want to quickly talk about the Titans. So, few things on the Titans from that game. They deserve credit for the win. Big win over the Chiefs at home. They looked impressive, especially on defense. So, I think the biggest thing to say about the Titans is they're shaping into form. I think for their defense, we know their secondary isn't very good, and I'm still not a big believer in their defense. But what I will say is they might now have a decent pass rush now, right? So the plan this offseason for the Titans, if you followed their free agency moves, was bringing in some pass rushers. They brought in Bud Dupree, Danico Autry, who I thought played amazing in that game versus the Chiefs. Obviously, Harold Landry's been there. Maybe a breakout year for him. They have Simmons as well. Their front four is pretty talented. They've got some playmakers there, and their linebackers aren't bad either. It's really their corner position where they struggle, but I think they're shaping into form on both sides of the ball. They're kind of finding their identity, which is nice. A.J. Brown also is rounding into form where he looks like the player he's looked like the last 2 years. He's looking dominant. He's making plays. They need their receivers to make plays. They need their receivers to make plays for them to be a great team, for them to be a competitor, for them to be a contender. And in that game versus the Chiefs, when the Chiefs stack the box and hold Henry to 3 yards a carry, you need your receivers to win one-on-one, and they did. Right? A.J. Brown did. Enough times for them to win that game convincingly. So, credit to the Titans and credit to the defensive coaching staff, Mike Vrabel, for having a good feel for what the Chiefs were going to run offensively and be all over it in coverage. Congrats to Titans fans. All right, I'm not all the way there with you guys yet, but I was impressed, and it was a great win. So congratulations on the win over the Chiefs. Next. Oh boy. I don't know if they're still here or not, but the Ultra versus Durkant Bowl happened on Sunday. We had the Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins. A very interesting matchup. And the Atlanta Falcons, Ultras team, came out on top. And I have something to say about both teams. I think this was interesting because we learned about these teams a little bit. So first off, the Dolphins are down bad. I mean, they suck. Miami, Brian Flores, message to you. Flores, stop playing man-to-man so much. It's too predictable and it's too hard. You can't play man all game long. And you don't got the 2019 Patriots secondary out there. You don't got Stephon Gilmore out there, buddy. The Dolphins stink. Their defense is so disappointing. They have no pass rush. They can't get to the quarterback. Here's the problem with Flores right now. So they're built to be a man-to-man team. I don't care if you have God himself out there covering out wide to the right. If you can never get to the quarterback or your blitzes are always blocked up, you're not going to cover for 10 seconds. It's the Atlanta Falcons, and Matt Ryan's sitting back there dicing you up. Kyle Pitts is mossing your $20 million corners out there. Unbelievable. Their defense is the biggest reason they blow. They stink. They're trash. This defense was supposed to be elite. They were supposed to be good. Flores needs to go back to the drawing board because they suck, man. They suck. Their blitzes aren't working. People know what's coming. And man-to-man, I mean, I knew it was bad when they went to Tampa and just played man. Like, are you stupid? Literally, Tom Brady went on the Manning cast, which hopefully you caught it because I thought it was pretty entertaining and a pretty good banter there between Brady and Peyton especially, but also Eli. And Peyton asked a question like, how do you stop the Bucs offense? So Brady was kind of like jokingly saying like, you got to get up in the face of the receivers, plaster them, go one-on-one with Evans and Godwin and Brown, and that's the way to do it. So I thought that was pretty funny. But that's the whole time I was like, that's exactly what Miami did, and it was idiotic. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Yeah, Miami stinks. But also on the offensive side of the football, their O-line is so bad, man. And I told you guys this. They were the worst O-line in the NFL entering the year. I ranked them 32nd. And as far as I'm concerned, they suck. I think they're still 32nd. They can't run the ball. I mean, I've never seen a team that literally does not have a running game, but they also don't have a good quarterback. So it's the worst of both worlds. You know what I mean? It's not like they could just rely on their quarterback to make all these throws. And credit Tua, he's played better. He's played better. He's made some plays. The problem is their defense blows. Their run game sucks. He's under pressure. And here's the thing with Tua. He's not good under pressure. He sucks under pressure. And that's where he's made his worst mistakes. He's given the game away. Tua turned the ball over, right? He's given the game away in 2 games in a row because he's not good when he's constantly under duress. The only way to take pressure off him for always having to have to make a play is you gotta run the ball a little bit, and you gotta have a defense that can stop your opponent. Neither of those things are even close to being there for Miami. The only thing that Miami is good for is they got some receivers and some skill position players. Like Mike Gesicki is a freaking beast, bro. Like they don't even got Will Fuller or Devontae Parker. This dude is mossing guys. He was on You Got Moss tonight. That guy, I give him credit. He's amazing. But And Jalen Waddle's playing well. Like, he looks like a good first-round pick. But when you really look back at it, I mean, was he a good first-round pick? Because you could have got a tackle. I mean, a tackle would have been nice. Or a defensive player, possibly. Or a quarterback. I mean, geez. So, the Dolphins are a complete mess, man. I mean, I called them the most overrated team in the NFL coming into the year. But it's worse than even I thought. Like, it's bad. Like, I didn't expect their defense to be this bad, this atrocious. And then for Atlanta, are the Falcons in the fight? We're going to talk about the playoff races as the main event at the end of the show and sort it out and see. But I think the biggest takeaway for me with Atlanta is Kyle Pitts. I mean, that guy is just, they figured out how to use him, and he's making big-time plays. He was a great pick for them. He's going to be a dominant player for a long time. Yeah, I mean, the guy is really, really special. He's basically a big wide receiver out there, but they figured out how to use him. Matt Ryan's playing better football. Credit to him, although he's playing terrible defenses. He's playing well. And their defense, I mean, that's the thing. I told Ultra before the year that they've got good coaches. Like, they'll figure it out. They've got a good coach in Arthur Smith, and they've got one of the best DCs of the last 20 years, Dean Pease. Even though their defense kind of blows, at least he puts them in a position. They don't make a ton of huge mistakes. So I think Atlanta's got a shot. But hey, they're winning games. That's cool. Anything else on Atlanta? Just mostly like I thought that was kind of an either way game. That's kind of what it ended up being. And overall, Matt Ryan just kind of outplayed Tua, and that was the end of things. You know, it kind of came down to, it was one of those games where it kind of came down to which quarterback was going to make the critical mistake, and Matt Ryan did make one, but at the end of the day, Tua made one more. So that was kind of that game for you, the Durkant Ultra Bowl. One team is just absolutely down bad. The other one is actually somewhat relevant, which is absolutely incredible. I don't understand it. All right, next, Aqua time. The Bengals with a statement. So, as we do here on the bottom line, we're always ahead, right? We're always ahead. A week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, 3 weeks ahead, sometimes months ahead, right? But I came on here talking about the Bengals, I think, last week, and I was saying, where do I have them? Where do I put them? You know what? I was right, but I was also wrong. I was too low on the Bengals. I need to be higher on the Bengals. Two guys, man, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is like looking like Randy Moss out there. This guy dummied Marlon Humphrey. And for my money, Marlon Humphrey, I was talking about last week, Marlon Humphrey's one of the most valuable DBs in the league. I was talking about that last week. I don't know if that is not true anymore. Jamar Chase just dummied this guy. He's one of the best corners in the league. Jamar Chase is making plays down the field. He's making plays underneath. He's OBJing underneath. He's Randy Mossing over the top. The guy is a rookie receiver, probably the offensive rookie of the year. He has made this team so much better. It's absolutely unbelievable. So if anybody ever tells you that wide receivers are not valuable, they need to check themselves. Okay? Because wide receivers matter. Like, people were making fun of the Bengals for not taking Sewell. I guarantee you that this team is not where they're at without Jamar Chase. He has opened up the deep game so immensely. He has opened up and stretched defenses out so immensely that their offense is good. Their team is good. They make explosive plays. Guys, do you understand for a second? Do you understand that the Bengals were 0 for 2 in the red zone versus this team, the Ravens? 0 for 2. They got to the red zone twice. They never converted for a touchdown. 0 times. It was all explosive plays. Mixon, touchdown. Chase, touchdowns. Uzoma, touchdown. They are an explosive offense. Joe Burrow, his biggest critique a year ago, he can't throw the deep ball. What does he do? Throw the deep ball now. I think Burrow got from here to here now. Like, Burrow, is he a top 12 quarterback in the league? I think you could make a debate for it. Again, guys, Burrow impresses me with his play. His accuracy is phenomenal. He's got a good arm, not a great arm, a good arm. He's very composed in the pocket. He's got mature pocket presence. But the biggest things, the two things that I think will make Joe Burrow for a long time a great quarterback is he is very composed on and off the field. He is a phenomenal leader, and he has a confidence about him. There's only the great quarterbacks have this type of swagger, bro. And that is what Joe Burrow has. He is a leader. That is why the Bengals are where they're at, because they've got this explosive monster at wide receiver who also has an inherent chemistry with his quarterback, and the quarterback is a leader. A leader. That's what he is. All right. Jeremy trying to be funny over here. Okay. I love the Lions. I love them. Yes, the Detroit Lions lost. Yes, the Detroit Lions have not won a game this year. Yes, the Detroit Lions have not won a game without Matthew Stafford. But the Detroit Lions are fun. The Detroit Lions go for it. Everything I said in Bill broke me. The Lions are the opposite. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? The Lions, 2 fake punts. The Lions, onside kick. The Lions, going for it on 4th down when they need to. Guys, in sports, when you are a 16-point underdog, when you know going into the game, you are a less talented team, you have to take chances. Credit Dan Campbell for doing so. Knowing coming into the week, I will not allow my team to be embarrassed. We will put our balls on the table. We will go for it. We will have fake punts. We will onside kick. We will do everything it humanly takes to win this game. That's what the Lions did. Did they win? No. But at least they tried. At least they did everything they could. They acknowledged that they suck. They understood it. And they tried not to suck. That's what they did. So thank you, Lions. I love you. We got to talk about the Raiders. I am contractually obligated to discuss the Raiders every week. The Raiders are 2-0 without John Gruden. They destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am very upset with myself that I did not make the Raiders, because it was actually the first game I bet on all week, that I did not make them a best bet. Very upset with myself that I did not do that. But here's the thing with the Raiders. I have 3 points with the Raiders that I need to discuss. Okay? Number 1, everybody talked about John Gruden, and I think I was wrong about this part. I felt like John Gruden, without him, their offense was going to suffer. It was going to take a step back. Credit Greg Olsen. No, not the tight end. The other Greg Olsen, the OC, for what he's done with this offense, keeping it on track, playing to Derek Carr's strengths, getting the best out of getting the best out of Derek Carr is Greg Olsen. He's running all the things that you would think that Derek Carr is comfortable with. He obviously has a good rapport, a good chemistry with Derek Carr, and they're doing what needs to be done to win. They had a great game plan versus the Eagles. Okay, second thing, Derek Carr is stepping up as the true leader of this team. Without the voice of John Gruden, Derek Carr is stepping in and being that leader that a lot of people have criticized him for not being over the years. Here's the thing with John Gruden. He can be a little bit obnoxious. I've heard stories about quarterbacks talking about being the quarterback for John Gruden and it not being the most amazing experience in terms of how much pressure he puts on you every single day of the week and how flimsy he is with, he's my guy, he's not my guy, he might be my guy. How many years, for the last 3-4 years, Derek Carr's been on the block. Derek Carr has been, he's not going to be the guy down the road, all this stuff. Well, he is the guy, and he actually outlasted John Gruden. So there's another thing. Third thing, I think the Raiders can be a playoff team this year. The wild card that will determine their success in games this year will be the offensive line. The offensive line for the Raiders is a complete and utter wild card. Sometimes they will lose games independently, like the Bears game, and other games they will be good enough for the team to win. As long as the Raiders' offensive line is not a complete disaster, they will be good. And that's all I got to say about that. The Chiefs aspire to be what the Raiders are right now. All right, next subject. Terrible coaching. There's 2 teams that I think should absolutely, positively fire their coaching staffs right now. They probably should have fired their coaching staffs yesterday, to be honest with you. So, those 2 teams for me are the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. The Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff is mind-numbingly awful. It is so bad. I don't even know what to say. Nick Sirianni has more highlighters than anyone else. But I don't get his offense. Nick Sirianni's offense is terrible. It's terrible. He doesn't run the ball. Here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me with the Eagles. So, coming into the year, the Eagles' strengths are their offensive line and their pass rush, right? The Eagles' offensive line is pretty good. And what they've been always good at is they're athletic and they're powerful and they can move people, right? The Eagles don't run the ball. And here's the thing why that I usually like passing. I'm a pass guy. I like to pass the ball, especially on early downs. But the Eagles with Jalen Hurts should be a run team because Jalen Hurts as a quarterback helps you run the ball, right? It's like Cam Newton, right? You want to be a run-heavy team because that quarterback helps you run the ball. He takes another guy out of the ability to play the back, right? Because you always have to pay attention to Jalen Hurts getting the ball. So what doesn't make sense to me is the Eagles don't have great receivers. Jalen Hurts is not a good passer. Like, he just isn't. He isn't a starting caliber NFL passer. So with Jalen Hurts, you got to run the ball. You have to. You have to play to his strengths. And this is where I always see coaches that I'm not a fan of. When coaches don't play to the player's strengths, that's when you lose. Right? You got to recognize where your talent is at. Right? So, actually, this is an example. So, you guys may not understand what I'm talking about whatsoever. But I'm a lacrosse coach, okay? So, I coach offense. All right? And this just so happens to be box lacrosse. So, it's a different than field lacrosse that you might be familiar with, that you've seen. So, basically, I'll try to do it as best I can. So, there's 5 players, right? Just like hockey. And on offense, you switch from defense to offense. You change, your offense gets on the floor. You basically have a 5-on-5 offense versus defense. So, with the offense, typically, we would get the ball to our lefties, right? Here's the problem. Our lefties sucked. Okay, here's the problem. I'm just going to be straight up. If any of my players are watching, I apologize. Okay? My lefties sucked. So what I did as a coach, I saw like 3 games of this, okay? We get the ball to the lefties, we cut off ball, do all this stuff, okay? The lefties blow. So what do I do at practice? We're going to get the ball to the righties now. That's what I did. I was just like, okay, this is not working. How do I fix this? As a coach, that's what I'm thinking, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, I can't keep, because in practice, we're getting blown up. Like, we're getting blown up by our defense. Our defense was pretty good. We're getting blown up. I'm like, how do we fix this? So you got to go back to the drawing board and you got to figure it out as a coach, because that's your responsibility. Okay? Once we got it to the righties, it got better. But this is what I'm talking about with Nick Sirianni. You're not a passing team. You're a running team. You run the ball. Your offensive line is really good. Like, use Jason Kelce. Use Lane Johnson. Use these guys. These are good run blockers. Allow these guys to do their thing. Run it first, then you can have some passing off of it. And second, the defense is horrendous. The defense is pathetic. Like, oh my goodness. This Jonathan Gannon guy, I came on here last week and I talked about the Bucs game. I have never seen a team play softer coverage in my entire life than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles play charming soft coverage every week. They roll out there. They play the same coverage. They play off. They let you get every completion you want. They don't blitz at all. This team doesn't blitz at all. They don't blitz. Not one play. Okay? They're terrible. Their linebackers suck. And they got these guys running in space trying to cover. Their safeties are in the freaking concession stand. I mean, I don't even know where their safeties are. I can't find them. Anyone locate the Philadelphia safeties, let me know. Like, Derek Carr is a professional quarterback. This guy is a vet. This guy is a veteran, okay? Bro, what are you doing? Change it up. The Eagles don't make any adjustments. They come out there every week and they do the same shit and they expect it to work. It's not working. Fire these guys. They suck. And then, I don't know what's worse, the Jets. Okay? People like Robert Saleh. I have never liked Robert Saleh. I think the guy is a fantastic human. He's pretty jacked, okay? He's jacked. He gets excited on the sidelines. His scheme stinks. Bro, your scheme is from 2013. It's outdated. Can you do something new? We got Mac Jones shredding you, bro. We got Kendrick Bourne throwing 150 passer rating. Robert, what are you doing? And then they got the worst OC in the league and people are blaming Zach Wilson. This Mike LaFleur is horrendous. He's terrible. They got Mike White at quarterback and they're trying to score with 20 seconds left in the half. What are they doing? The Jets need to fire their coaches now. Like yesterday. And if not yesterday, tomorrow. Their schemes blow. They gotta help Zach. It's bad, man. And Matt Nagy. Oh, I didn't even plan on talking about Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is wow. Wow. I don't think Matt Nagy watched a single game versus the Bucs all year. The man just rolled out there and ran it on first down every time. I don't think they even got close to the end zone in that game versus the Bucs. Like, they didn't even get, I don't even know if they got past half field. It was gross. Oh, the Jags is a different story, man. That's something else. But you know who doesn't deserve to be fired? You know a coach who keeps getting criticized on my timeline that doesn't deserve to be fired? And I've already talked about this year. The Niners aren't good, guys. Can we stop trying to get Kyle Shanahan fired here? I see way too much Kyle Shanahan hatred. Guys, let me break down I almost need to make a video explaining this. I don't know why, but I do. Like, do I gotta pull a Chiefs depth chart thing again? Guys, let's just break down the Niners. The quarterback position. The quarterback blows. Jimmy Garoppolo, I've told you this. How many times do I got to tell you? Jimmy Garoppolo is limited. Limited. He can't make throws outside the numbers. Every throw is over the middle of the field. He doesn't extend plays. He is bad versus pressure. His mechanics are inconsistent. Jimmy Garoppolo has the worst feet. And I'm not a pro quarterback. I don't know shit, okay? But if you watch Jimmy Garoppolo, I've seen this since 2014 because I saw the guy when he was like in the first couple years. The guy stands up. He's like this, bro. Like, who throws the ball? His feet are so awkward. Like, I don't understand. And I took the Colts all day in that game. Because I'm like, bro, Jimmy can't throw in the pure sun. He can't throw in the sun, never mind the rain. Are you kidding me? He can't throw the ball. Oh my God, he stinks. So then you got him. And then you got Trey Lance. Okay, so people want Trey Lance. Trey Lance can't complete a pass. He can't hit a freaking water if he fell out the damn boat. He's so inaccurate. He's not ready. And that's not fair to put Trey Lance out there because he's not ready. I mean, how can you blame Kyle for not having a quarterback? Look at Belichick without a quarterback. He struggled in his whole career. Guy doesn't have a quarterback. So then the quarterback, that's just the first thing, okay? Second, he's getting these 5th round pick running backs and they're running for 100 yards. So Elijah Mitchell, maybe he's incredibly talented. He's a 5th round pick. Okay? Next, the O-line. The O-line. Trent Williams is out. Guys, Trent Williams is the best left tackle in the NFL. He's the best left tackle in the NFL. He did not play in the game. George Kittle is arguably the best tight end in the NFL. He did not play in the game. The O-line can't pass block, especially without Trent Williams. Mike McFloppy is fishing out there. The O-line gets blown up, and then you got Jimmy sitting in the pocket. Oh, throws it up. Duck City. Bro, how do you expect to move the ball? And then, on top of that, they can't pass pro. They can't pass block. They can only run the ball. They have one receiver. Debo is their whole receiving core. Brandon Ayuk, where are you at, dude? You're playing on every down. I see you. Why aren't you getting the ball? Get open. Good receivers command targets. Get the fucking ball, bro. So they got one receiver. George Kittle's hurt. Guys, they lost to a talented Colts team with a very good coach. Frank Reich is a very good coach. The Colts were the better roster. I don't understand the Niners being overrated. The reason people want Kyle fired is because they think the Niners are good. The Niners at this moment in time, when you watch them play football, suck. They can't do anything. Their pass blocking sucks. They got no tight end. He's out every game. Guys, here's the thing. George Kittle is currently Rob Gronkowski. He's currently Rob Gronkowski, except Jimmy Garoppolo is not Tom Brady. Okay, this is the Niners. They got Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman and Deebo Samuel, but they don't have a quarterback, so it doesn't matter. And then the defense. They've got no quarterbacks. What do you want? Their defensive line is pretty good. They've got Fred Warner, who's a beast. Their corners can't cover. They got Josh Norman. He's like 4,000 years old. The Colts got a better offensive line. The Colts got a better running back. The Colts have more receivers. I know that's crazy to say, but they do. The Colts have just as good of a defense, and that was a bad matchup for the Niners because the Colts were a top running defense in the league, and they still ran for over 100 yards. And it was a monsoon, a game that helps the Colts. Because Wentz actually has a stronger arm than Jimmy. He can't throw for shit. So, why are we trying to get Kyle fired? Dude, his team's not good. I don't understand. What about the Niners is good? Their quarterback sucks. Their running back's a 5th round pick. They have one receiver. Their tight end's hurt. Their O-line is hurt and sucks. Their D-line is good. Their linebackers are good. Their corners suck. So what is good about this team other than the front 7? Nothing. They suck. Now, where you can blame Kyle Shanahan is through personnel decisions. Personnel decisions just like Bill Belichick. Okay? He hasn't made good picks with John Lynch. They haven't made a lot of good picks. They should have picked Mac Jones. I got laughed at for that. I said the Niners way back in March, they should pick Mac Jones. I thought that Kyle was going to pick Mac Jones. They end up picking Trey Lance. That's going to be a miss of a century, okay? Then they got they should have picked CeeDee Lamb. They picked Javon Kinlaw, okay? They pick Dante Pettis. They pick all these bums that they never use. Their secondary needs help. They never pick corners. I mean, that is where they suck, is they have not made good personnel decisions. They traded DeForest Buckner. Bad trade, Okay? That is where you can criticize them, not the actual coaching on the field. That is where you're wrong. Justin says Jimmy G is totally overrated. He got paid just because he's set man with millions. What a life he has ahead of him. And I don't want to rip apart Jimmy G, but the fact of the matter is, I always hear people bring up, oh, he's 24-10 or whatever. Bro, the guy was carried. He's just like, he's Teddy, he's white Teddy Bridgewater. That's what he is. I swear. My God. All right. Let's just talk a little bit about the Watson rumors and Tua stuff. So, a lot of Dolphins fans are a little bit upset because of how they've basically handled the whole Tua situation, which I think is fair. But I also think as an NFL fan here, like speaking from a fan's perspective, it would be tough because I think Deshaun Watson is a rare case because personally, I wouldn't want Deshaun Watson as my quarterback just because. But it's like, you gotta get a quarterback in this league. You have to get a quarterback. And if you've watched Tua play, maybe he's been fine, okay? He's been fine. But here's the problem. Fine is not good enough to win in the NFL. The problem with fine is, just like Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, this is actually a great segue, okay? Jimmy Garoppolo is not fine to have. He's basically the new Jared Goff. Because when you have a quarterback like that, like Tua, all of your other personnel decisions that are faults, that are wrong, are obvious, right? So all the fans are watching and they're like, oh, the left tackle, he's not good. We need a new left tackle. Oh, the third receiver, like he sucks. We need a new third receiver. The tight end, we need a new tight end. We need a new running back. We need to improve our corners. We need to improve our edge rush. The problem is with that type of quarterback where it's like they're serviceable, but they're not anything special, is you have to be so good. You have to be so good on other areas of your team. You have to be amazing on defense. You have to have a good O-line. You have to have good receivers, all that. And that's what the 2019 Niners had, on top of a good coach and a great system, is they had everything, okay? The Dolphins don't, so that's why they have one win. That is why when you have Tom Brady, or you have Russell Wilson, or you have Aaron Rodgers, or you have, who am I missing? I don't know. You get it. When you have Tom Brady, okay, so let's take Tom Brady. Obviously, he's an exaggeration because he's Tom Brady. But that's the difference between the Patriots now and the Patriots then, right? Is now, like everybody, including myself, criticizes Bill Belichick's personnel decisions. Because those quarterbacks overcome all of the shit. So they overcome the bad left tackle. Like Aaron Rodgers hasn't had David Bakhtiari. Doesn't really matter. All right? Tom Brady doesn't have his whole secondary. Doesn't really matter. Right? And then, thank you, upgraded plays. Big difference between the Lions and the Rams right now. Why did the Rams go out of their way to get Matthew Stafford? Even though Stafford's not like top 5, he's probably top 10. But what's the difference there? Well, Stafford can make those key plays in the course of a game and that Goff couldn't make. So it actually takes the stress off of the defense not performing as well, right? Maybe because Stafford will make a couple big plays that will overcome those little things that don't matter as much. Because at the end of the day, quarterback matters more than anything. It just does. Dak Prescott's another one. Thank you, Chris. So, that's my point. Is now with Kyle and with the Dolphins moving forward, the Dolphins need to say, and this is why they want a quarterback. This is why the Panthers want a quarterback. This is why the Broncos want a quarterback. Is because they have recognized that unless our team is perfect, we can't win with Garoppolo. We can't win with Darnold. We can't win with Teddy Bridgewater, right? We can't win with Tua unless we're perfect. So that is why you get Deshaun Watson, even though if BLV thinks he's a D-bag, right? So that's what you do. Now, final segment, very long show. Appreciate you guys being here. A lot of people here tonight. Thank you so much. Let's sort out the playoff races. So, the playoff races in the AFC and the NFC. Let's start with the AFC. So, the AFC East, the Bills will win the division. I'm pretty confident in that. The only team that even has a chance is New England, but they're not even really close. I think they're 2 games behind. The Jets and the Dolphins we've spoke about, they're terrible. So the Bills, they'll win the AFC East. Not sure where they'll finish, but they'll be in there. The AFC North is very interesting. Currently, the Bengals lead the AFC North at 5-2. The Ravens have a chance to win that division. I am canceling, guys, cancel culture here. I am canceling the Cleveland Browns. They are done. 4-3. They've got a positive record. They're above 500. But Baker Mayfield is toasted. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win the division. The Browns, cross them off the list. They're done. Throw them away. Okay? So it's the Bengals or the Ravens in the North. The Steelers we'll talk about in a sec. The Ravens or the Bengals will win the division, and one of them will make the playoffs. Pretty confident in that. AFC South. The Titans will win the division. Now, there's another team that could make the playoffs who beat the Niners, the Colts. Talk about them in a sec. But I've got the Titans winning the division pretty handily. Not sure what seed they'll be, but they'll be in there. AFC West, the Raiders are currently winning the division, which is quite shocking. And they actually have a chance to win the division. But the entire AFC West has a tough schedule moving forward. In the AFC West, I will cancel the Broncos. Even though I think they're 3-4, they're out. They've lost 4 in a row. Throw them in the garbage. Okay? Chiefs still got a chance. Chargers obviously got a chance. Raiders got a chance. Chargers are currently the number 1 wild card, or the Ravens are, then the Chargers, then the Browns. But like I said, the Browns are canceled. So the Browns are done. Browns are done. So that leaves Browns in the trash. So that means for the final spot, this is how I see it. The Raiders could still miss the playoffs. I'm not going to completely put in the Raiders. I'm not going to completely put in the Bengals either, although I feel like the Bengals will make it. So the Raiders, I'm still a little bit skeptical about. So that kind of leaves 2 spots in the air. So we got the Chiefs at 3-4, the Patriots at 3-4, the Colts at 3-4, and the Steelers at 3-3. One of those teams will make the playoffs because the Browns will be eliminated. The Colts, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Steelers. Okay? If I were to rank it, I would probably go Chiefs, Patriots, Colts, Steelers. The wild card for this, I think the Steelers won't make it. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think they're good enough. They're 3-3. I don't think they're good enough. Their offense it sucks. I can't. So they're kind of out. I think the Patriots, the Colts, and the Chiefs have a chance. Like I said, Browns are in the trash. The AFC West, the way it shakes out will be real interesting because the Raiders and the Chiefs still play twice, right? They still play twice. The Chargers still play the Chiefs once. The Chargers still play the Raiders once. So there's a lot of key games in there. I think the Colts and the Patriots will be very close. And here's the thing about the Chiefs. When you look at the Chiefs' schedule, the Chiefs have a very hard schedule. So they play the Giants, the Packers. So the Giants on Monday night, they'll likely win that game unless the Giants get a whole bunch of players back and then somehow upset them. But I'm going to say that the Chiefs win. I think they're like double-digit favorites. The Packers, currently how both teams are playing, I'm taking the Packers, all right? The Raiders, 2 times. I think they'll lose at least one of those games. So that's 2 more losses. So that's 6. They play the Cowboys, the Chargers. Let's say they beat the Chargers. I think they're a worse version of the Cowboys right now, although they could win that game in a shootout. I wouldn't be surprised. They play the Steelers. I think they beat the Steelers. They play the Bengals, which will be tough, and they play the Broncos twice. So essentially for the Chiefs to make it, let's say they need 9 wins, all right? So they need 6 more wins. They need to beat the Giants. They need to beat the Raiders once, the Steelers, the Broncos twice. That's 5. And then they basically have to beat rather the Bengals, Packers, Cowboys, or Chargers, right? I think I got that correct. So they have to beat one of those teams to get 9, not 10, 9. So that's really hard. And currently how they're playing, I'm not sure. You know, like when you look at, we talked about this last week, but I think New England has a lot easier schedule. I think the Colts have an easier schedule. So it's going to be tough for the Chiefs, although I think they're probably the favorite to get in there. I'm not sure that they actually will. So, I think a lot will be determined by, honestly, because New England is a team that's getting better and better and better. And if they beat the Chargers this week, maybe we'll start talking about them getting in. But they gotta win some of these games the next 3 to 4 weeks. They gotta go like 3 out of 4 for the next 3 to 4 weeks to really have like a good chance. The Colts, I'm not sure. I think Wentz he's a little unreliable. The Colts and Patriots do play though. So it's tough. So really what I'm talking about here is the AFC having 1 to 2 potential spots, but 5 of the teams basically being secure. In the NFC, the Cowboys are going to for sure make it. The Packers are for sure going to make it. The Bucks are for sure going to make it. The Cardinals are for sure going to make it. The Rams are for sure going to make it. So that's 5 teams. Now, you could argue who's going to win the division, Rams or Cardinals. Personally, I'm still going with the Rams here, but it will be close, okay? The other 2 wild cards come down to the Saints, who are 4-2, the Vikings, who are 3-3, the Falcons, who are 3-3, the Hawks, who I think still have a chance because of Russell Wilson coming back, the Niners, and then a very outside chance of the Giants. Personally, I think if the Giants lose to the Chiefs, they're out. The Niners, it's going to be hard because they're hurt and their quarterback's always iffy. So I really think the NFC for 2 spots is between 4 teams. And that's the Saints, the Vikings, the Falcons, and the Seahawks. For some reason, I think the Seahawks are going to end up making it. I don't know why. I just do. Okay? But I do think the Vikings will make it. If I were to guess, I am most confident in the Vikings making it in the wild card out of the Saints, the Vikings, the Falcons, and the Seahawks. I am most confident. The Niners still got a chance, but I'm not super confident in that. So, it's tough though. I don't know. Let me know who you guys think. Right now, it looks like the Saints will make it. Like I said, it looked like the Saints will make it. They're 4-2, but I don't think they're a very good 4-2. So that's kind of where I stand on the playoff race for both conferences and who I think could be the dark horses. So if I were to say like dark horses here, I would say look out for the Patriots in the AFC to make the wild card over the Browns and the Chiefs. And I'd say look out for the... Look out for... Because I want to say the Seahawks, but like it's real tough. It's real tough. So the NFC's tough. I'm not sure. I still think the Giants, like, if the Giants can somehow get healthy, man, like somehow they've got a chance down the stretch. Because you look at the Giants schedule. Like, I'm going to look at this schedule right now. The Giants schedule, if they can somehow get healthy, I know this is like a long shot, but the Giants, after the Chiefs play the Raiders at home, they've got the Bucks, which will be a loss, but they play the Eagles twice, who they typically beat. They play the Dolphins, who they'll beat. They play the Bears, who they'll beat. They play Washington. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 easily winnable games. Okay, so that's 7. And they play the Bucks, Chargers, Raiders, and Cowboys. So if they could win 2 of those, they'd have a chance. It's a long shot, but I wanted to throw it out there because I think they play 5 bad teams. So I wanted to throw it out there. Let's look at the Niners real quick. So the 49ers schedule is the Bears, who they should beat, I would think, but I'm not 100% sure. The Cardinals, who they might be able to beat. I mean, they lost by 7 last time. They play the Rams twice. You would think they beat the Rams once, the way that they play them over the years. They'll beat the Jags. So they play the, let's say they beat the Bears, the Jags, the Rams. It's 3. The Vikings and Niners will be tough. Seahawks, that Russ should be back. Bengals, Falcons. Falcons game will be big. They play the Titans, play the Texans. That's pretty tough, man. So I think they're the worst team in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the games. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to pull off some upsets there. Falcons for Ultra here. So let's look at the Falcons schedule. Even though I don't think the Falcons are very good, but they might just get by with a schedule. If they could somehow beat the Bucks, I don't really see that happening. But the Panthers look awful. So they play the Panthers twice. At least beat them once, you would think. They play the Saints twice. So hopefully they could beat them once. So let's just say they're 2-2 there. They play the Cowboys. They probably lose. Patriots. I mean, it will be close, I guess. I would probably lean Patriots there. They'll beat the Jags. So that's, let's say, 3-4, 3-5. They'll lose to the Bucks. They might beat the Niners. So 4-5. Lions 5-5. But then they play the Bills. So like they're probably going to end up being like 7 wins. That's kind of my guess for the Falcons. They're probably going to end up being like 7-10. Because they have faced a favorable schedule lately. So that's how I see it. So right now, I think it's Saints-Vikings. Even though the Vikings have a tough schedule, that's kind of how I think in the NFC. The teams that are currently in, I think will make it in the NFC. Unless they fall apart. But yeah, that's my take on that. And that is the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you do. Gronk, spike that like button if you haven't already. It's Mitch of The Bottom Line View. I will see you tomorrow live for the Week 8 NFL Power Rankings as we begin a new week in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting me. It's Mitch. Make sure you check out Discord. Link in the description. Join the community there. Follow us on Instagram at TheBottomLineView for the Ultra 10 and more. Peace.